Hello, I'm Charles Kovess, Australasia's passion provocateur. Welcome to this week's episode of the Charles Kovess Show, whether you're watching on Rumble or YouTube or listening via one of the many podcast platforms available to you. I will discuss a number of key issues that are happening on the planet and then explore how the self-awareness and passion principles can help you handle similar situations. I'll also share resources that I consider will be helpful to you in dealing with such matters. The show notes give you links to the background principles of the show and details of my background, and also give you links to our websites where you will find resources, information, and details of the self-awareness and passion quest to help you on your journey to living the life that you want to live. So let's go with this week's big impact issues and how to handle them. My topic is whether or not you should give up. Why don't you give up? It's much easier to give up. What's the point of persevering when you have no certainty in getting what you want, in achieving your dreams, in achieving your goals, your desires? Well, let me give you some examples that are currently top of mind. Firstly, Barbra Streisand. I'm reading her autobiography. She was born 10 years earlier than me in 1942, and what a hard childhood she had. Like seriously difficult. She had a dream. She wanted to be a singer and an actress, or an actress and a singer. I'm a third of the way through the autobiography, but I've gone through the hardest parts. And so many times she was told, you're never going to make it, you're not good enough looking, it's all too difficult. Her mother was a constant source of, why bother? You're never going to make it. Don't have dreams like that. Your dreams can't possibly be fulfilled. And reading her autobiography, as I am, is just a wonderful, wonderful reminder of how many people who have achieved great things had incredibly tough times, incredible difficulties, and just kept going. They were passionate about it. They had a dream. Their self-awareness was, that's what I'm born to do. There was no certainty that she would make it. And indeed, even after she'd had success after success, she was still on struggle street. So you achieve certain things on the way, and yet you're not getting where you think you want to be, or in fact, where she actually got to, into the upper echelons of entertainment, show business, and the acting profession. Great inspiration. And one of the lessons from this is to be, in your own life, looking for sources of inspiration so that you don't have this urge, give up. Just, it's easier to give up. Second example. The Paris Olympics and now the Paralympics in Paris, following on from the main Olympics of the disabled athletes. I'm not going to talk about the ridiculous situation of the Italian bloke who claims he's a woman. That's not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to bring to your attention how difficult it is for most Olympians and Paralympians to even get to the Olympics. One of our colleagues has a 14-year-old daughter who's passionate about gymnastics, whose dream is to compete in the Olympics in gymnastics from an early age. Where this dream came from, who knows? But the desire, the dream, the goals of this young girl to go through all of the pain, all sorts of physical ailments as well, and the pressure that puts on the family, the efforts of the family required to help a child to live a dream. Well, that's the case with almost all of the Olympians and Paralympians. Years and years of hard work, of absolutely no certainty that they're going to get to where they want to go. And why do they give up? Well, that's a great question. Have you given up in those circumstances? Because these Olympians and Paralympians have not. What we often don't see is the years of struggle before it and the lack of certainty of ever getting to where you want to go to. I've also got a family that I know quite well whose son had a dream of playing high-level football in Australia in the AFL. Years of struggle, and then suddenly gets sick in the first year, gets delisted by the club, and it was such a blow. It was such a blow to confidence. Never played football again. So years and years of work. That can happen as well. And so one of the issues to work on is constantly honing your own inner strength, your own inner resources, so that when bad things happen, you aren't tempted to give up. The third example is the freedom fight that I'm involved in, the fight for proper health that I'm involved in, the fight for the proper application of law that I'm involved in. This is a difficult fight. With the work that I'm doing and the groups with whom I'm working, including medical doctors in 2 global meetings a week, plus an organisation called Fighters Opposing Autocratic Maniacs, plus the Aligned Council of Australia, I'm involved in fights against the global resources of governments, state and federal, the World Health Organization, the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab and his minions, incredibly wealthy people like Bill Gates, big pharmaceutical companies, the mainstream media. They're all out to take away your freedoms. They're all pretending to be concerned about your health, but they're not. And they're all taking away your rights in the name of your safety. These organizations have almost unlimited wealth. They have the military that they can call on. They have the police that they can call on. All these forces lined up against the work that I and people with whom I'm associated are working. It'd be much easier just to give up. It'd be much easier to make a decision that says, no, governments and big pharmaceutical companies and big business are all honest and they're interested in your welfare and my welfare, and they wouldn't take away any of our freedoms without good cause. You know? Gosh, makes me want to have a coffee. Huh. What a bunch of crap. These and what's happened, I first got involved in politics in the 70s, and politicians then had some integrity. Very few politicians, the outliers, have integrity. Most politicians who become ministers have bought into the influence of external forces in driving political decisions. And big business is in cahoots with governments. By the way, that's the definition of fascism. And when you look back over the last 4 years, who has suffered and who has done well? Big business has done well. Politicians have done well. It's the middle and lower classes that have suffered because of this attack on our freedoms, on our rights, and on our health. I don't give up because what I'm doing is important. Now, the fact that a majority of people currently think that the government is doing the right thing is not to the point. You see, here's the problem with democracy. A majority of people say, oh, yes, the government's doing the right thing in terms of all this protection of our safety, blah, blah, blah. Well, the problem is that the vast majority of people do not understand the issues. How do I know that? Because I see what people write in the mainstream media, bunch of lies around health, and I see what people talk about. And I've got some highly intelligent friends who have no idea about the attacks on health that are happening, including these, just this week, the monkeypox threats, the West Nile virus threats, all BS, everybody. There are no threats. Don't get sucked in by this fear porn that you've got to worry about these so-called viruses. I fight even against these odds together with the people that I'm fighting with because we are on the side of truth. We are on the side of transparency. We are on the side of freedom. I'm passionate about that, just in case you had any doubt about it. And therefore, I have no intention of giving up, even if I might fail in this lifetime. So be it. It's worth the fight. A fourth example of not giving up is the industrial hemp game that I'm playing. I'm managing director of textile and composite industries. We make a machine that processes hemp stalk. I've been 12 years on the hemp game. I've made no money out of it. But hemp is going to be an agricultural game changer for our planet. There are attacks on our food supplies. I want you to know that a community that grows industrial hemp can get its food, clothing, shelter, medicine, fuel requirements, plus more from this amazing crop. I can see the value of hemp for humanity. It's difficult. There are politicians and big business lined up against industrial hemp, lined up against anything to do with cannabis. Why? Because they know what a wonderful plant it is. For 8,000 years, humanity's known what a wonderful plant it is. And what I'm doing is difficult. What I'm doing will be good for humanity. It's worth persevering with. It will help to preserve freedom. Why? Because here's my proposition to you. Successful, profitable family farms throughout every country are a crucial defense against government attacks on freedom. Just imagine if everybody's living in the city and all agriculture is done by major corporations. Come back to this definition of fascism. Major corporations and government working in collusion is fascism. If we're living in the city, we've got no security of food supply. I want in Australia, all around the world, families to be successfully farming with good soil practice to preserve soil, to build soil, to remove chemicals from soil, to have healthy foods, to have a healthy psyche, so that we are in great shape to fight back against forces that will take away what it means for us to be human. I think that's worth fighting for. Is it difficult? Yes. I've been doing it for 12 years. The company that I'm the managing director of started 30 years ago this year with a similar, with that vision of hemp being a wonderful, wonderful resource for humanity. If you want to know more about that, go to the website textilecomposite.industries. But that's why I persevere with it. That's why I don't give up. And my vision is so compelling that I don't have the slightest thought that this cannot work. So, 4 areas in which I explore. Do you give up or do you persevere? And that comes back to your passion, because passion is a source of unlimited energy from your soul, your spirit, your heart, that enables you to produce extraordinary results. I say, if you truly are passionate, you wouldn't dream of giving up. And it doesn't matter if you're not going to achieve your end goals or dreams or desires. It is the pursuit of your goals, dreams, and desires that makes life worthwhile. So on the TNT radio front, I urge you to visit tnt.news. The show, the TNT continues live during the week because of the corporate shenanigans. They are replays during the weekend. So my show, the Mind Medicine Program, and the Health Professionals, 2 shows, are in abeyance for the moment. They will make a resurrection in some form. I'm sure many of you understand what corporate shenanigans means. My resources this week: Barbra Streisand's autobiography, thoroughly enjoying it. Great example of passion and perseverance in action. It will inspire you to be willing to keep at it, to keep pursuing your dreams. And the other book I want to bring to your attention is by a friend of mine, by someone I've worked with over the years, Mark Worthington. I've spoken about him before. His book, From Pain to Possibility. And this is another example of the journey of being willing to go through the pain, because when you go through that pain, you truly discover who you are. You will never discover who you are if you don't go through pain. So Mark Worthington, From Pain to Possibility, I recommend it. So that's it. I hope today's show makes a beneficial difference to your life, a life that I believe is meant to be all that you are capable of making of it. If you're new to the show, check the links in the notes to the foundational principles of the show and details of my background, and our websites, covest.com, charlescovest.com. Again, thanks for watching or listening. And for the upcoming week, I wish you a week full of passion, full of challenge, full of fun whilst pursuing your passion, with a willingness to face the pain that creates the possibility of you creating the life of your dreams. Have a great week. See you next week. Bye.